Hey, this is Dave for Dave is Just Dave, where we explore abuse recovery, mental health, and positive attraction. We explore these topics through many lenses, the most important lens being our own personal experience. Today's lens, we're going to do a pop culture lens again, looking at the show The Bachelorette. You may have landed here after watching a Bachelorette recap video that may have been kind of more funny in nature, but if you're here now to talk a little bit about mental health, welcome. And if you're here from the mental health aspect of the channel, welcome back. So let's talk a little bit about Clare and what she's going through right now on the show. So whether you've watched the show or whether you never have, let me just give just the briefest full context. So Clare Crawley is a 39-year-old woman who was on the show The Bachelor in 2014. During that time, she came in second with the star Juan Pablo. He did not choose her. Obviously, she came in second. And she kind of stood up to him and said, I don't want you to be the father of my children. And that was kind of how she became famous. That might make you think that she has children. She actually does not. She's been on a bunch of shows since then. And as far as other Bachelor franchise shows, and has even been engaged, I believe, but ultimately that didn't work out. And now she's 39 and the star of The Bachelorette, kind of at the pinnacle of her Bachelor Universe career, but has tried a number of times to find love and hasn't been successful in it. So that's the full context of the situation with The Bachelorette. And what we want to talk about today is how when we take the full context of our lives into account, that this can create opportunities or exacerbate conditions where we can make impulsive decisions that aren't the best for us. And this is an example where Clare is doing something extraordinary in being the star of The Bachelorette at age 39. She's the oldest person ever to do it. That is very impressive, and that takes extraordinary determination and will to kind of will yourself to be the star of that, especially after things haven't worked out. So when you do that, you become very attractive to people. However, it kind of increases the likelihood that as you put that mental strain on yourself, you're going to be driven to make more impulsive type decisions and oftentimes rush through them. And when you rush through really important decisions like who to choose as a romantic partner, this can be an opportunity to make a decision that is not the best. So what are some situations other than being the Bachelorette that we might go through in our lives that would cause us to make these type of poor decisions? Well, one would be death. Unfortunately, whether it's the death of a parent, it could be death of a grandparent, or death of someone else close to you. Maybe you take a really important role, or this person was really important to you, whether an important role in kind of dealing with the estate, an important role in kind of giving the eulogy or comforting people who have gone through this loss. And when you do that, you become super attractive to other people because they can see that kind of extraordinary will and light that you're shining out. And unfortunately, this could be the exact time when somebody who's more toxic type person or more narcissistic type person could target you and kind of attempt to kind of be the solution to all your problems and really sell you on that. And that's when you're going to rush through and make an impulsive decision that you could regret. Now, I'm not saying that that's what's happening with Dale, whether he's kind of ultra charming Clare in the early stages of The Bachelorette. Quite frankly, I don't think that's necessary because Clare, if we watch her in these episodes, and it would be true of anybody in an extraordinary situation, it's just a good occasion to talk about it. She is convinced of the divinity of the situation, that her husband's absolutely there. She can see her husband. She sees emerging from this as engaged. So she's so convinced that this is going to happen. Dale may not have to do anything in terms of love bombing her or trying to do personality mirroring in order to attract her. She may be just willing to latch that on. I don't want to be too offensive, but to almost anyone, because she truly wants this to work out so badly. I hope that's not the case. I hope things can work out for her and Dale, but it's looking like it's an extremely impulsive decision. So that's one scenario, death. Another scenario is just any kind of extraordinary civic commitment or commitment to take care of somebody in your own family. whether that's a child or a parent, or you're doing something from a volunteer standpoint, or something like that, putting on some kind of event that takes all this planning, you're burning the candle at both ends, doing these things. Again, that light is shining bright within you, that you're putting all this positive effort, the outcome is good, the event turned out well, your parent's getting healthier, your child's getting healthier, whatever the case may be. Again, this is an opportunity for a more toxic or more narcissistic type person to look at you and say, oh, wow, this is the perfect person that I'm going to kind of steal their light. I'm going to harvest their energy, and I'm going to pressure them, although it won't really feel like pressure, to make a poor decision by rushing into a super serious romantic relationship with me. Now, in the context of talking about it with Claire, there's nothing wrong with kind of being open to the idea, and even being open to the idea of kind of love at first sight, maybe with Dale. But since The Bachelor has a structured process by which you can make the selection, which takes place over, I think, 8 or 10 weeks, there's no reason not to go through that process, even if somebody's a front runner, to make sure that you make a good choice. And similarly in your own life, there's an established process called dating, where you meet people, you date, sometimes multiple people, and then you make a decision to be exclusive with somebody. This doesn't happen in a weekend. It happens over the course of time as you build up trust in the person. So just like Claire, there's no reason for you to rush through that process. What's another situation that could cause you to rush through a process and be impulsive? Well, one of the most common situations is going to be that you've just exited some type of abusive situation. When you exit an abusive situation, you go no contact, and you're really doing well in your recovery. Guess what? You were giving all this energy over to an abusive and toxic person who was harming you. Now you have all this energy in reserve, and you're used to giving a ton of energy and love to people. To one particular person, your abuser. Now you have it to give to everybody. So this is going to make you extraordinarily attractive. So when you first kind of escape that relationship, recognize you might be really extraordinarily attractive to people. It's an excellent time, unfortunately, to fall right back into the abuse cycle with a different partner, or with the partner that you just got away from, because you've got that attractive light shining on you that shines when you're going through an extraordinary situation, or you've just been through one. And the last thing that might happen that would encourage you to kind of rush through and make an impulsive decision is that you could be thinking, kind of like Claire is, she was with Juan Pablo, didn't work out. On these other Bachelor franchise shows, didn't work out. Now she's 39 years old, she's the Bachelorette. And you're kind of thinking, this is my last chance. When you're thinking it's your last chance, that's a real red flag that you might be at risk to make a poor choice and force things from a perspective of trying to meet somebody right where they come at you when they say, you're the best person I've ever met. You're my soulmate. You're the best lover I've ever had. I've never had conversations like this. I've never shared any of these things before. When people say things like that, they could be true, but the sooner that they say them, unfortunately, I wish I could tell you different, but the more that they're red flags that this person is not on the level and is trying to get you to believe that they are your savior or they are the answer to your problems. What they really want to do is harvest your energy and harvest your light that you're giving in this extraordinary time of your life. So just like Claire, who's in an extraordinary situation, to be the Bachelorette, to will herself to do that, to hope to find the right person and emerge from it all with some beautiful story that things didn't work out, but ultimately she showed up as the most mature person and won and selected the right person. That's a great story. Unfortunately, when you rush into a story like that, it's unlikely that that's going to occur. Now, if you've rushed through a decision recently and made a poor choice, go ahead and forgive yourself. You didn't understand that while you were going through an extraordinary situation, you were more likely to be impulsive, to rush through things and make a poor choice. Do take a little bit of responsibility, because you probably knew when somebody said, hey, you're the greatest person I ever met, and they're, especially if they're a little bit older, it's like, how likely is it that within 3 days they would be able to determine that you're the greatest person that they ever met? That's so unlikely. That's a major red flag. So do take a little responsibility for that you didn't listen to the voice inside, but you'll resolve to learn from it. The next time you're going through an extraordinary situation, you're going to recognize even more than normal, you've got to take your time. So even if you're really into somebody, you're going to say, I'm only going to see him once a week. I'm only going to see him twice a week, whatever it is. If they pressure you about it and and make you feel bad about it or make you feel insecure about it, just say, listen, I was in a bad scenario. I rushed through something the last time and I made a poor choice and I just didn't feel comfortable. If they truly respect you, they're going to respect that. If they don't respect it, it seems like just not the best situation. If you have been through a situation like this, please take care of yourself, eat, rest, exercise, socialize. It's so important. And as you reflect and ruminate on your past relationship that seems like it was a mistake, that's only natural, but make sure that you don't share those thoughts or ruminations with your abuser. They're only going to use it to taunt you, ignore you, or attempt to hurt you in some other way, and that is going to make you feel worse. Whenever we talk about these type of topics like Claire on The Bachelorette or making impulsive decisions in extraordinary situations, there's always the chance that someone will have some important thoughts to share on the topic. We would encourage you to do that in the comments, whether that's in agreement or a disagreement, or they have a personal experience they'd like to share. I'd love to see that. If you did find value in this, would really appreciate it if you would consider subscribing to the channel, whether that's for Bachelorette content or mental health content. Would really appreciate it. And if it's something you feel like somebody would benefit from, go ahead and share it with them. That helps them because that's part of my mission with the channel, and it would help me if you would share it. So that's it. Stay tuned for more videos on this topic of abuse recovery, mental health, and positive attraction through a pop culture lens. And really appreciate you taking a look at this. Thanks so much.